Hello YouTube. Today we're going to go over virtual machines. What is a virtual machine? And what is VMware? First of all, VMware is for running virtual machines. And a virtual machine is essentially an emulator of an operating system. It uses ISO files and VMX files. For example, it is basically me saying that I'm going to use a computer on another computer. Windows 10 on Windows 7 or Linux on Windows. All in all, you're essentially using two different computers or two different operating systems. You can put as many viruses on your virtual machine as you want. It will not harm your physical operating system. This is unless, of course, you bridge the adapter to your physical network. This is because the TCP/IP malware in the network can transfer through tunnels on the VM to your physical operating system. I would say that virtual VMware is better than Oracle because it's more professional. It has better hardware preferences, and I'll show you that later on in the video. But yes, this is essentially what virtual machines are. So let's get started. Alright, so we're here at VMware. Let me close this virtual machine out real quick. So yes, when you get VMware, you're going to have a universal key if you don't want to pay. And universal keys are essentially developer keys that a developer's used for VMware. And so if you don't want to pay, you'll have to use universal keys. And I'll show you what a universal key is. It will prompt you to put in a key for VMware for like an account, because it'll give you a 30-day trial. I can't remember. And once that's over, you can't use it again unless you use one of these keys here or pay. So I guess I got a CAPTCHA here. But yes, these are the license keys. I will provision the link in the description for these universal keys. Okay, so yeah, let's get started on how to use VMware. We'll go over vSphere client later. It's in the networking part. But first, before we go over VMware, I want to say that if you go to CMD and you type in ipconfig, we went over this in our last video, but if you go over ipconfig, you can see that I have many of my virtual machines bridged to my network. So I have to be extra precautious about what goes on my VM because it could tunnel through. Alright, so yes, virtual machine. For this, we'll need to do a new virtual machine. And we just click typical, and then you install the operating system later. We want to get this all ready. Yes, I would recommend we do Linux. Let's do Linux. This goes for everything. If you want Microsoft Windows, just do Microsoft Windows. I'm going to do Linux. I don't know. I guess I'll do Ubuntu. Yeah. Store it as a single file, because unless you have space, and I'm low on space right now, but if you have split it into multiple files as recommended, and it'll make it easier for the computer to run, but it may reduce performance like it says here. You can put whatever you want for the disk size. I'm probably going to put like maybe 8 gigabytes or something. So you can customize the hardware. Ubuntu. Now you can't start this virtual machine up right away Otherwise, it'll do this. It won't understand what you're trying to run because it doesn't have anything to run off of. So what you have to do is you have to get an ISO file, like I mentioned. And let's see, you just look up Ubuntu ISO file. And I will be back whenever this is downloaded. Okay, YouTube, I am back. Alright, we have the ISO right here. Remember Power ISO from my first video? Yes, we will be using that we will be using that for VMware. So, move this over here to the other screen. As you can see, I'm running low on space. I need an extra hard drive, external hard drive. I'm gonna get that soon. So anyway, let me make a new folder real quick. Copy SPC documents, new folder. I'll just name this Ubuntu. Put the file in here. Okay. Just wait for that to do its thing. It's done its thing. Alright. So now what we need to do is we need to allocate memory. I'll probably put it up to... Honestly, I only need 2 gigabytes, really. Maybe 3. I'll put it up to 3, maybe. You want a higher level for gigabytes if you're doing it, if you have plenty of memory, because if you don't, you can't take snapshots and revert back to the way it was before. So now what you need to do is you need to go to this, use ISO image file, browse, and go to your file location. Mine is in Documents, Ubuntu, this, and there we go. Now we can just power this bad boy up, and we should be able to get Ubuntu. Ooh, would you look at that? Alright. Now, later in our hacking videos, we're going to be using Ubuntu for networking, but for our hacking videos, we're going to be using Kali OS or Parrot OS. We are not going to be using Ubuntu, but it is a good idea for networking with Ubuntu. So, yeah, I'm just using this as a demonstration of how virtual machines work. Well, yeah, that's about it, really. Let us walk through how to install Ubuntu, I guess. I've never actually used Ubuntu before. I've only used Parrot and Kali, so... Taking a bit for it to power up, I don't know why. Oh, and also, if we use Power ISO, we can... I don't have any disks left, but you can also use Power ISO to burn the ISO on your CD. So you can collect disk images. I'll show you that real quick. You just go to here, burn. You burn the image file, go to your directory, and you would normally go to Documents and Ubuntu, and then your ISO file, and just burn that. that's how you would burn the ISO. It's honestly useless if you want to, unless you want to collect operating systems on your CDs. So, yeah. Just English, I'll put try Ubuntu, I'm pretty sure. This is probably equivalent to live CD version. This is what we call the OEM partition, also known as the bootloader. It's just trying to look through things to start the virtual machine or the computer, the operating system. Right back then it was looking at the virtual buses to see if everything was okay. Surprisingly, I've never had this problem with Linux where it was so slow. Usually it's pretty straightforward, and there we go. We have a new operating system installed. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.